L&T have so many different divisions, right? I know there are L&T IT, there are L&T different things, right? What exactly this logistic management center? What exactly you guys are doing?
Now I'll give you a mind-boggling number. At L&T, we deal with more than 500 plus projects at any given point in time. These projects are located in 25 countries across the globe.
One fun fact, I get to know about ODC movement because of L&T.
Tons and tons of cargo, and if it is mapped, let's say Mumbai to Coimbatore is my rate contract. So even a 5 kilometer, 10 kilometers deviation lead to crores worth of expenditure.
You know what? This is the problem area of all the multi-model kind of businesses, whether it's a Support G, Reliance, Tata, Godrej, Imami, who have different kind of businesses. They face same problem.
When you already have 93% business share or market share across the geographies wherever you're operating, how do you move further? But if I ask them to, can you just plug in with the expediters as well, or with any other DB Shankar or DHL? Oh no, sorry, this is only for Nagal. So
Hello, everyone. Welcome back on one more episode of Plastic Unlock. Today, podcast is gonna be very interesting. You're gonna know all sort of insights from L&T and how this works, what exactly happening. Today's guest have a huge knowledge and deep understanding of multimodal logistics and what exactly how this big giant corporate like L&T works, right? He's heading the Logistic Management Center in L&T Limited, and they are doing great thing in terms of automation and digitalization. So yeah, if you wanted to have a deep dive into logistic automation in L&T, this podcast is definitely for you. Today we have Mr. Dharmendra. He have more than 28 years experience in logistic supply chain. Right now he is heading the Logistic Management Center at L&T. Welcome, sir.
yeah, thanks, Pratik.
So I'll definitely like to start with your background, right? You have worked in Mahindra and Mahindra, started as a salesperson, then Tata Motors, then Reliance Retail, then Pdillite, and now L&T. How this happened?
You've already researched it, yeah.
Yeah.
Good, actually, yeah. So, say when I started my career, it was wanted post management. You want to be in marketing and sales, where a lot of glamorous things happen, events, conferences, brand promotions, all those things, and then slowly realize that maybe this is not working that better I would have expected it to be. So from a pure brand management and marketing, moved to the sales management with Mahindra and Mahindra only. They had this division Kinetic. Kinetic was taken over by Mahindra. So and then I realized the a lot of nuances of making sales or reaching the sales targets, how it happens and how the product comes, and you already have orders in hand and you don't know why this order is not getting service. You fought for it, you fought for the order, you got things in place, and somebody is holding to your order or performance. So that pushed me to look back end, and then I got into the little bit of channel development, sales development, dealer development, etc. So when I moved from Mahindra and Mahindra, after doing some role in the dealer development, channel development, and moved with Tata Motors then, and that was really going a little bit one more step backward, and that was in uh, the distribution and channel network. For the
Mhm.
spare parts, the commercial vehicle, really exciting one, because it took me across the country, multiple geographies, right from Agartala to Dibrugarh on this side to Dwarka and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, all those places, because wherever the truck would go, I mean, especially Tata Motors commercial vehicles. So
Right.
giant, the spare parts would be needed. So we needed to appoint some dealers and distributors for our spare parts division, and that's where I got a little bit more deeper into the trucking industry, how it operates, what's the life of a transporter and driver, and how this yields some sort of a profitability for them, and how this entire operating economics works in the transport sector. Because most of the time I was on road, I chose to be in a field, and therefore I was almost out of 365 days, I would say I was about 250 plus days I used to be in field, traveling
Mhm.
around. So that gave me a lot of insight about the road and its transportation activities. Got an opportunity with Reliance Industries then, so
Mhm.
joined their logistics team, and that was for the first time I got into logistics with Reliance Industries. And then since I already knew about the road transportation network, transporters network, not the transportation, the vehicles, dealers, how it works, what is per ton per kilometer, which is best, which model is good for which road, which is having least maintenance, etc., 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 all those things. So started finalizing the rate contracts for Reliance Industries for the
Hmm.
special petroleum business initially to start with. Started mapping around the whole road transport network across the country because on a rate contract, if I'm moving tons and I mean tons and tons of cargo and if it is mapped, let's say Mumbai to Coimbatore is my rate contract, so uh, even a 5 kilometer, 10 kilometers deviation would lead to crores worth of expenditure because it was not for one single truck or the lane. But because finalize the rate contract for a year will have hundreds of truck going on that route. Every other truck going on that route for Reliance Industry. So that was having a big impact. So that was the
Hmm.
time when I got into a real hardcore of the logistics optimization. And that optimization now, backed with my knowledge of channel management, spare parts distribution, operating economics, network with the transporter, it really started working well for me.
Hmm.
And that's
So you
where when I
connected the dot and then you moved forward with your
yes,
career, right?
it kept on going backward actually, from the
Yeah.
absolute hardcore from in front of the customer in automobile with the selling two wheelers or the promoting two wheelers, not the selling, creating a brand called K4100 then and Kinetic Honda's brand. Then I was a brand executive with them to start
Hmm.
with. From there, going backward, every time a step backward. And then in the Tata Motors, then not the Tata Motors, Reliance Industries, the big moment came for me to be part of the Reliance Retail's journey. I was one of the very few who joined in a very early stage in 2005, Reliance Retail with handful of people. I was told you were carefully chosen one. I said, okay, be it good, feels good. So therefore, in fact, at times you will be surprised. People don't choose their bosses. I was lucky to scan through my CV of my bosses. Who could be
That's
my
good.
boss? I was given the task, screen through the CVs and let me know who is the best guy to be at that senior, blah blah blah. And then then the journey in the real hardcore logistics started. I was at a conceptual stage. I was part of the Reliance retail. Then from a zero store to 1,000 plus stores. Then for the next 5 years when I was with them, and that's where the I understood the length and breadth of the distribution and channel network, retail transportation, primary transport, secondary transport. When I moved out of Reliance Industries retail business, I was heading the entire transportation operation for retail business. Absolutely
Yeah.
moving fruits and vegetables to TVs, and then it used to be a mobile phone, yet small, but and even the Reliance jewelry had started. So Reliance Jewel, so even the
Yeah.
transport gold. So right from the
Hmm.
transportation of the gold to the palak or the cabbage and loki, all those things, mix of all fruits and vegetables and gold, same team. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the wide process gaps.
Hmm.
And then when I had a bit of enough on the retail sector, the opportunity came to me from Pidilite, the makers of Fevicol.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
M-Seal, Fevicol, Feviquick, the great brand, and I could not resist because I had my experience with the FMCG, the consumer brands, because of my previous association. I felt maybe it's time for me to go back to the front end
Hmm.
from being in the back end. Though I couldn't go to front end as such, but within Pidilite, I was part of one of the core team which would analyze and evaluate the opportunities to enhance businesses from where you're already at the top. When you already have 93% business share or market share across the geographies wherever you're operating, how do you move further? So
Right.
those things. So it happened that we need to explore multiple other geographies outside the country where we are not really present in large numbers or good quantity. So the global networking started, the shipping, my
Uh,
the global thing started.
Right. You were maintaining around 80 countries supply chain, right, at Pidilite, if I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
not the supply chain, the exports to all these 80 countries. Because I was head of the international logistics based out of India.
Hmm.
I got the exposure to the global shipping and logistics then. Uh, movement of containers from our India specific plants to multiple countries, multiple geographies, and then also import from many parts of the world. So that's where my brush with the global shipping and logistics came in between 2010 and 12. Then I moved with BASF, which is a global
Mm.
German company, the large chemical company. So my experience with Reliance Petroleum and then Pidilite and other things started culminating to this, and I became head of supply chain strategy for South Asia, based out of Mumbai. Had a real good experience on the global best practices and the global shipping and logistics because the scale was huge, operations were huge. When you talk of containers, you don't talk of containers in hundreds, you talk in thousands there with them. So that was the scale which I got there in BASF. Then I moved to Technip FMC, which is known as Technip FMC now, or Technip Energies now. Earlier it used to be known as Technip. So, which is a French company. Now it's a US based company. There, I started getting into EPC segment of it with oil and gas. That's where the I was looking at the function, where global shipping and logistics or the logistics can really play a vital role in the successful growth of the organization or the profitable growth of the organization. So otherwise, if logistics remain at the backseat, then you're not really contributing to that extent, or maybe you're contributing, but you're not getting recognized. Your efforts are not being recognized, etc., etc. So when you're leading a function which is directly linked to the profitability, then yes, your contribution you can proudly say I made some impact.
Mm.
So when I
That's
got into this EPC segment, engineering, procurement, and construction, Technip used to. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, Technip sets up the global plants or the factories, refineries for oil and gas companies and energy companies like uh, BP, that is British Petroleum, Shell, Total, ExxonMobil, you name the any ONGC, IOCL, BPCL, Reliance, and all. So these people get their plants set up, and that plant set
mm.
up by companies like Technip, which is into EPC. They'll take large turnkey project uh, to be executed in about 18 months to 36 months or so, and then make engineering design for it. Then go for the procurement of all those equipments which are unique in its nature or the format. Sometimes greenfield, sometimes brownfield projects has to be executed. It could be in any part of the world. So, like sitting here, in fact, in India at Mumbai, was leading multiple projects operating in multiple geographies as part of the global delivery center. So, the projects is happening in Ghana, Africa, Nigeria, also in Europe, also in Brazil, and also in Indonesia, multiple geographies simultaneously. And that's where the real logistics role come in play because you with your handful team members, you're trying to evaluate which is the best possible way to get your cargo from multiple geographies of supplier base to the plant or the site where it is needed for some fabrication and then getting converted to its final product. Very exciting one because at times cost is very important, but at times schedule is extremely important than the cost. So you need to continuously make evaluation whether sea is good, road is good, or the air is good. So at times you charter planes also to ensure the deliveries are in time, because once the delivery of engineering cargo comes, that opens up huge work front. Your workforce is waiting, engineers are waiting at the site. I don't know, clients
Mm.
penalties and delays, late delivery penalties, etc., are sitting on your head. So at times you make that decisions on the spot, or you promote or you recommend those decisions that it's better we make a full charter of it. We might pay 20 times more than the sea freight, but it will open up a huge front, and that could save us millions of dollars more. You spend a million, you save 20 million. So that's a
Mm.
very dynamic decision making environment. It gives you the EPC segment and a global, completely global, in fact.
Right,
That
right.
was really exciting one, and then I moved into L&T from there.
Before that, I have a couple of question here related to EPC, right? So we have clients in EPC, right? We have Jameel Steel, Keller International. I've also
Uh-huh.
worked with Exec Engineering, right? Uh,
That's great.
you rightly mentioned that there are so many complex things and so many complex decisions needs to be there, right? But meanwhile, while working with them, I understood one thing that even though they are very large companies, they have so many different kind of movements and supply chain management, right? But the automation part of it, it's still blank, right? Why is there, I mean, why these smart people who is, saving crores and crores but still not focusing on the automation part of it?
Yeah. See, it's like who will do it? Who will invest is the question. Everybody wants automation.
Hmm.
Be it suppliers or be it my shipping line related companies, shipping line or maybe freight forwarder, CHAs, or my own companies, the cargo owners we call them. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants to invest in it. Because if somebody invests money, it has to be used by all stakeholders. Let's
Hmm.
say if Kuehne makes takes initiative and develops one system and says, "Hey, I've got a great system, and you can just plug in and you can get fantastic tracking of my shipments of your cargo, and you can actually have a great quotes coming in and a lot of things, related to logistics. You'll have seamless information available on a click of button. Fantastic." But if I ask them to, can you just plug in with the expediters as well, or with any other DB Shanker or DHL? Oh no, sorry, this is only for Kuehne. So you again, your options get limited. So you
Hmm.
don't want to really get into it. So investment of Kuehne also for a customer like us, EPC I'm talking about, right? I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the other large customers who are
Right.
steel mills, etc. Because at EPC we need to continuously keep keep I won't say changing is the wrong word, but keep adding and deleting vendor base.
Hmm.
Today I have cargo coming in. A huge project is, let's say, lined up here in the Middle East in the MAM, and my 60% of cargo is coming from Europe, for example. I need to work with the good companies which are already having strong base in Europe, and a good connect, a good freight forwarder, good shipping line, good airlines on those sector. So my strategy will be for that. But at the same time, I have started working with the companies in, let's say, Indonesia. My project has come up, and $1 billion worth of project is there, for which roughly 5% is my logistics spend. Now the same freight forwarders and the shipping line may not hold true. What who are servicing me on the MAM and Europe the MAM or Europe KSLN. So now I have to have more. So thereby, I end up having wide variety of LSPs, logistics service providers, at any given
Hmm.
point in time. And right from the small truck operators to a FedEx on Aramex and DHL and Churinagel and DB Shankar, maybe Merckx and CMS, CGM, MSC. All I'm
Hmm.
dealing simultaneously with them. At the same time, now my supplier base. Today, for one project, I am getting supplies from Brazil, or someday I'm getting supplies on my steels from Tenaris, Brazil, or their Spain plant, or maybe sometimes from the Nippon Steel, Japan, or from SAIL, India, Coimbatore. And I'm just talking about one segment, steel only. Now, steel
Right.
has huge variety. CS steel,
Hmm.
MS steel, fittings, flanges, plates, tubulars, etc. Something is coming from Korea, something from Russia. We import a lot of things from Russia. I mean, just before all this happened. So now, if you look at the category of this suppliers, can I force any supplier to use one system?
No.
Possible.
Hmm.
So the ecosystem in which we operate in the EPC segment is typically automation is desired, but one really cannot have. I mean, I'll give you a success story. What has hit us, what we built something which is unique across the globe. Actually, maybe during the discussion, when time permits. So, need for automation, yes, very much. Whom to invest on is a big question. Do you have a tech platforms which are capable to cater to such vast dynamic situation? It's quite dynamic.
Hmm.
Whatever I explained, and a wide variety of vendor base to deal with. If you're in a
Hmm.
manufacturing, let's say Reliance Industries, only for example, or SAIL, or maybe any Holism as a cement company, everything is properly perfected. There's a manufacturing plan, production plan, there's an inbound, there's outbound. Monthly, so much of throughput will happen. These many vendors will be there. They'll be given access to the system. They can get indent. They can start placing the vehicle, import, export, whatever it is they do it. It's all well orchestrated. But in an EPC segment, when you're dealing with multiple projects at the same time, now I'll give you a mind-boggling number. At LNT, we deal with more than 500 plus projects at any given point in time. These projects are located in 25 countries across the globe.
Oh my God.
These are live projects I'm talking about. Annually, we move roughly around 500,000 plus shipments. Now, each shipment can be a single truck as well, and a shipment can have 500 trucks as well.
Hmm.
Bringing in, the brick bulk cargo from Nippon Steel. It's a
Hmm.
20,000 ton steel plates. Now, to move 20,000 steel plates from Nippon Steel's own port in Japan, Yokohama, from there to my Katupalli yard in Chennai or maybe Mumbai or Zira, wherever it is, I probably need to engage more than 500 trucks.
Hmm.
So now
That's
one
I.
shipment, in my system, it is known as one shipment, but it is having 500 vehicles. So
Yeah.
likewise, 500,000 plus shipments. And we deal with
Hmm.
more than 1,500 plus logistics service provider at any given point in time.
Totally agree. I can totally relate with it because I had a experience with working with L&T ECC, and they have
Uh-huh.
explained similar way that they have to move some kind of bulker or some crane, right? For that they need five kind of different vehicles, and it was 15 kind of vehicles. So we used to give them a reverse auction platform for the hiring trucks, and they said that it's a one moment, but in this one moment there are around 25 vehicles which we have to procure at one go. I was like, what is this? And that was the first kind of moment which came across to me because I was thinking that one truck, one kind of material, one movement. That's all. But this is
Uh,
what was mind boggling. So yeah, that's
So
true.
just think of it in L&T, the wide variety of business. In fact, there's no second example like L&T across the globe. There's no
Right,
two second company exist. In L&T, we are into EPC segment with oil and gas with the hydrocarbon business and power, which is again an energy business, setting up power plants or setting up kind of taking large turnkey projects on the power sector, thermal power, etc., or supplying, having a small manufacturing units of turbine or some sort of coaxials and lots of engineering goods related to power industry, which we have a tie-up with joint ventures with Mitsubishi heavy engine industry or even Howden. So these are power sector and oil and gas, which is onshore, offshore, global business operations. And on the other hand, we have then heavy engineering equipment. So we build huge nuclear reactors, pressure vessels, which is like single piece can be 300 ton, 500 ton, 40-meter long, maybe a 6-meter dia. So 6 meter is what you can imagine.
right.
The dia can't move on the road properly. In fact, so this is in this engineering side of it. But on the other side, construction, if I can tell you, then we have huge PTND is our business segment, which is laying out the power transmission business or
Right.
cables and transmissions, all what you see the power transmissions happening across the globe, which we are into it. So huge business operation, different kind of business altogether. Then buildings and factories, setting up buildings. I mean the hospitals and large complexes and towers and IT complexes and buildings and factories. Factories and factories we build. IKEA's, let's say, one of the largest setup, a million square feet, probably the warehouse come store in Navi Mumbai is built by us. Likewise, many. There are so many. Ram Mandir is one example. Parliament is another example. Statue of Liberty, Statue of Unity, or
Right.
many metro trains, which we like. Our transportation infrastructure business does a lot of business on the railway segments. We
Right.
are op-
Even I'm from Kolkata, and Kolkata Asia's was underwater metro built by L&T. That's for all of you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, likewise, the Atal Setu, the 22-kilometer long bridge on the sea in
Yeah.
Mumbai, is built by L&T. And
Right.
also multiple tunnels, in fact, in Mumbai and a couple of other places. A lot of tunnels for the RVNL railway, Vikas Nigam, we are building it in Uttarakhand and J&K. So,
Right.
hydel projects. Then we have got heavy equipment, heavy engineering, heavy civil infrastructure, which is like,
Right.
think of a most complex infrastructure if it is to be built, at least in India, it's only one name.
L&T. Right. One fun fact, I get to know about ODC movement because of L&T. Before that, I was not aware of that, right? So most of the people don't know, over dimension cargo happened, where the cargo size is not normal, and you have to move,
Yes.
and you have to also do the RRA, road risk analysis before movement the cargo, and then the escorting happening. So with the truck, there are 5 6 vehicles going for the
Yes, yes.
escorting, right? And these all things were crazy for me. I was around 25 26 year old that back then. I mean 3 4 years back, and I was somehow in connected with LNT ECC Kolkata, and this is what amazed me, that for a truck there are 5 vehicles going before that, and they are doing the entire RRF for the route, and that was crazy.
Yeah, it does happen to us almost on a regular basis. Many of our business segments have this ODC and super ODC, we call them. I
Right,
mean, you know the ODC, I can tell you super ODCs. Like we always call L&T's capability of logistics, which is, our freight spend is direct and indirect put together close to $1 billion. That is 8,500 crore plus is our direct freight, I mean, the overall freight spend exposure. And we move from pin to platform. Now, when I say
right,
pin to platform, maybe a small piece, like probably something like small fittings, flanges, etc., and small pieces which we move from there. A single piece to the through courier, etc., to a single piece of a platform called a process platform for our oil and gas business could be of 5,000 ton, and I repeat, could be of up to 4,500 to 5,000 metric ton single piece, which we roll on the barges and take it to the sea on the submersible barges and take it to our oil rig, to client base. Could be anywhere in the world. I mean, mainly let's say Middle East. We do a lot of movement, so that is also part of the we call it one shipment, 5,000 ton single piece. For documentation, if you ask me, there could be one single bill of lading, one single invoice, one single packing. But then probably the freight bill could be $50 million single piece.
right.
So that's from pin to platform. We move at LNT. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I wanted to ask one question later on in the segment, but now you have mentioned the capability of LNT. I was going through one post where you have mentioned Slovakia to Mumbai in just 8 hours, right? Just for people who don't understand that for average time of flight is 12 hours, right? I don't know how this is happening, how you are moving this one cargo from in 8 hours. What exactly you guys are doing? What kind of movement you guys are doing? Is it only air or sea or road movement? What exactly happening? I just
All.
wanted to know the inside.
Yes, yes. See, these were the copper drums actually, which were required for our transportation infra business for Agra Metro. And Agra Metro was supposed to be having a schedule for rollout. You know how our PMO drives some of the infrastructure projects through the Gati Shakti, and also every project is tagged as important or urgent and super urgent. So this suddenly fell into a super critical category where, and the copper, these kind of copper drums were not available in India. Our Indian vendor base, from where we were asking, really could not meet the delivery schedule, and if at all we had to wait, the cargo would not have come from within India because of the some of the other schedule constraint they had. So we had to scout from anywhere in the world, and we could discover, we could find out. Our procurement team found it at Czechoslovakia actually. Slovakia is not Czechoslovakia. Czech is separate now, so
Yeah,
Slovakia, and then the supplier agreed, and all those things happened. But we were really running short on our time, so we decided to air freight it. Even for air freight, when we would do it, we found that a lot of airlines would take from the Slovakia to Luxembourg, or uh, maybe Paris, or Amsterdam, or Frankfurt, or by road from Slovakia to there, and then from there it will come via Turkey or Dubai or Abu Dhabi to India, which was like 15 hours, 16 hours, not even 15, 16 hours. It was running into days. Like
right,
day one will be road transportation from Slovakia to, let's say, Frankfurt, halt for a day. Day two
right,
will be pick up from there by Turkey airline or the Emirates to either Turkey, Istanbul, or this Abu Dhabi or Etihad if it is. And day four will be to Delhi. I
right,
said, I think it's too much. So we looked at some of the direct lines with the passenger airlines, etc. They were having a difficulty in having the flying rights over Iran and this and that, and this was having a constraint, and they had some compulsory stops because those this itself was around 30 tons. So they had some
mm,
challenges on managing it, the weight constraint, etc., and they were forced to take little longer time transit time. Then we stuck upon. He said, okay, we will go ahead with a full charter. So we did a full charter. We engaged a freighter owner directly. We said, let's do it. And we the charter owner was also smart. He said, okay, I'll take this is route and this permission. Might take me a little more hour to get the permission, but if I get the permission, I can fly straight from Slovakia to Delhi airport. And that's what happened.
Hmm.
We made it. And that's how,
Right.
and if I can tell you the further story, that railway line or the metro line was inaugurated by our great Prime Minister Modi.
Narendra Modi.
So
Yeah,
feeling that we could
that's
contribute something in the success story.
so that's why I wanted to ask this from you, like, cause most of the people don't understand the time constraint in logistics, but it's very crucial, especially moving like this kind of, important commodity and from other countries where the average time is 12 hours, 13 hours, but you guys are able to make it in 8 hours. That is amazing thing. I mean, cause people don't understand, it's not about the moment, it's also about the that which you was mentioning for the loading, unloading, handling, all those stuff,
Yeah,
and paperwork. There's so many other hidden time that which is related to this kind of moment that exactly
yes.
happened. Like, I would definitely like to know that L&T have so many different visions, right? I know there are L&T IT, there are L&T different things, right? What exactly this logistic management center? What exactly you guys are doing? What is that?
Yeah, Logistics Management Center is an apex body or the no or the nerve center for logistics in L&T, where all business units. We operate under 14 business units, business verticals we call them, or you will hear from me IC as independent company cell we call it. So IC. Uh, there are 14 different types. In that, there are sum total are 35 independent business units. We call them business units. So you'll probably during the course of discussion you'll hear IC, that means 14 business verticals, and within that each vertical may have three, four different variety of businesses. In case of let's say hydrocarbon is onshore, offshore, or advent, engineering services, etc. Like there are 35. So there are 35 independent logistics leads or heads operating in L&T, all
Hmm.
these 30 and at multiple geographies.
Right.
So it could be overseas locations as well. So these all 35 are now connected through the logistic management center. They follow the simple unified standardized logistics processes across all geographies
Hmm.
via our system called ILMS, Integrated Logistics Management System, which we have, which is a digital platform. So, which is, it's like a recently about 6 months back, we have went through the transformation of the entire logistics processes across L&T. We had a federated structure where pockets of excellence were there, and guys were busy optimizing at a local level. So, it was more of a local optima approach, and they were doing great. But then collectively, as a company, probably we were not there where we were supposed to be. So we decided, management brought in the focus on logistics to optimize the cost and schedule both and make it as an enabler. So we Logistics Management Center proposed the plan and the white paper, which was approved by management to go for a complete overhaul and transformation of logistics in L&T. And that's
Hmm.
where we standardize all processes, right from the indenting to payment, all steps, request, that is what planning, then requesting, then procurement of the logistic services, then execution, then track and trace, and then in processing of invoices and bill settlement, etc. And also have a unique and standard dashboard
Hmm.
which can actually give us the single version of truth. So today, at any given point in time, through that system, which we call it ILMS, it's a SaaS product operated by E2Log, which is a US-based startup company. Fantastic system in a way that on a click a button on this my mobile phone, I mean, I get the real time dashboard at any given point in time, that how many shipments are moving where to where, and how much is my savings, how much is my freight spend, how much is my auctions happening, who are my transporters are doing good, bad, ugly, all those things. So this kind of transformation has happened. So this is managed by Logistics Management Center. So this is like managing the nerve center of it, not the tech alone. It brings in the competency as well on the subject matter expertise. Many ICs they need our or the business units they need our support and expertise to finalize some of the complex situations, complex rates, etc. Uh, Sometimes full charter, part charter, or even urgent shipment, or sometimes even the transporting it by hand. A lot of things
Hmm.
happen. So we cater to their needs as well. So we are more like a competency center as well. You may call it, or maybe the category management center for logistics. One single agency catering to the all logistics requirement of across the L&T group across geographies on a single
Wow.
platform through a standard processes. So we always call it, the people are now portable. Let's say one of my team member working on a, yeah, just like our airline, the segment, not airline, this telecom sector, from Geo to uh, Vodafone or Airtel, portability is there. You retain the number. Likewise, I keep telling, guys, somebody who's operating in Calcutta, let's say my guy is working with M&M segment, which is a construction equipment related manufacturer of the equipment business, vast business across the globe. Suppose he wants to have a transfer on a growth to hydrocarbon business, offshore or onshore in Jeddah or Dammam or Dubai. So when he moves there, he'll have no difficulty in migrating to the new country and new uh, business group, because he will get to see the same very system, same transaction, same way to perform every steps, same way to be reviewed by. Bosses are
Hmm.
also reviewing the same way. So today, with the stroke of one digital platform, we have made all our entire 200 plus logistics force portable. They're easily
Hmm.
portable from the air freight segment to sea segment to road segment to the rail segment, because historical data is getting built and a lot of MIS dashboards and data science is getting into it. We're trying to build AI in it to advise us on various recommendation for the various quotations. We have a situation where even vendors rate us and we rate vendors. Just like Ola, Uber, when you get off, you need to rate your vendor, your driver. So likewise, my vendors will rate me the performance, how was L&T, and my team will rate them on a qualitative basis, not the objective, those parameters of thumbs down, up, down on a scale of 5, on 7, 8, 8 parameters. Really exciting for us to know. There, with the same digital platform, we have opened the gateway to performing vendors, the entire world of logistics of L&T.
Hmm.
Definitely. Because if you perform, you get more and more opportunity. Because today, earlier, my one business segment had a vendor base of limited number, let's say 30, 40, 50. Today, with this digital platform ILMS, my entire, my let's say offshore business of hydrocarbon, out of 35, one business unit, but it has access to 1400 LSPs rated
Hmm.
on their performance. So they can pick and choose. I mean, I'm not saying that they need to go through such a vast. This is not the approach, right approach. There's a category management approach. But if you keep segmenting it, you'll find probably let's say if they want to move, let's say good cargo from Brazil to uh, Dubai, huge steel plates they need to move. All they can do just do the country Brazil to UAE, any historical data. They get to see so many shipments happening by any other business units, and also who are the vendors, etc. They get the reference rates there, they get the reference lanes, reference service providers, and then quickly they turn their RFQ into a bid document, and then the bidders are there, they can bid, and all approvals happen on the digital platform. I keep receiving just a notification on this, and I approve millions of dollars of freight on this click of button in almost no time, because all data is here in front of me. So that is really
True.
exciting, and that is what is LMC is doing and driving actually within L&T.
Perfect. And you know what? This is the problem area of all the multi-model kind of businesses, whether it's a Support G, Reliance, Tata,
Yes.
Godrej, Imami, who have different kind of businesses. They face same problem because they have local automation, local digitalization, local level of vendors, and they can do wonders when they work on a group level. So as a being a digital automation platform, we always face same challenge that in a same organization, there are two kind of companies, two kind of division, and both are using different solutions, right? And when we are working with some other people are working with some other automation platform, they are there, right? And they are not able to utilize the entire automation part of it, and that's what is. So the moment you mentioned that there are a couple of vendors, I literally believe that the more opportunity you will give to vendors, the more better and better service you will get from them.
Oh yes, yes.
Because because you are giving huge chunk of business to them, right? And they will give you more discount, they will give you more reliability, and all those sort of importance will be also there. So all those kind of things get opened when you are giving them the universe of your entire organization.
Where one is the opportunity, another is the we also get the uh, we also evaluate our vendors' performance based on the fair process,
Right.
a completely transparent process. Your ratings are there to talk about. Your competitiveness is talking about through the rates. So if you have
Hmm.
performed really well on the rate and the service both, why not you should get the next order? You will be
Perfect.
invited to bid A, and suppose you are not good. Suppose your ratings are less than, only for example, let's say I'm saying we are putting up 3.5 as a parameter, that anybody getting below that is really a red flag for us. Because I mean, if there are guys, if I have a lane, let's say from Korea to India, and I need to move, let's say 2,000 tons of my tubulars, and then I need to float RFQ, and then I see my system, and I find that there are 20 players already there with a 4 plus rating.
Hmm.
You know, historical data, once it gets built, once all
Right.
my systems matures, this is how we will have it. So why would I really invite somebody who is at 3.5 below?
Hmm. Right.
So it is up to
That's
the guy to look at and find out. We'll have some discussions with them. We'll also find out which vendor we need to spend time with. Maybe what has gone wrong, that the guy who was already at 4.5 plus has actually fallen to 3.5 or below or both. Is it really the cost issue or the service issue, or unnecessarily that guy has been rated low by somebody who is not really liking, the
right.
human element?
Right.
You can
That's
actually get that. So the
hmm.
review, when let's say recently we had some review with our large scale service provider in India, with two of them, and they were MNCs as well. So they just didn't have to bring in any data. I just opened my
Hmm.
dashboard. Their name was selected. In a fraction of second, every data came in. How many, the bids were invited, and they were bids they were participating, and they won, and they how did they perform? How much is their bill spending, invoiced, not invoiced? How much is outstanding? Every data which they would ask for, I had. So on a
Hmm.
just click of button, no PPT to be made.
That's true, and that's crazy. Okay, I would also like to know, because you have worked in a different continental now, right? So, as a being a or logistic automation platform, right, Traqo, what we are working in a different kind of globe structure, right? So, we are also serving to African continental. We are also giving solutions to Indian market. We are also giving solution to APAC region and European market. That's already there, right? Uh, what do you think, what is the adoption and automation in these all continental, and where, like, for you, you mentioned that a US based company startup who are helping out, right? uh
Yeah,
why
E2log.
US? Yeah, Italy. Why US company, right? What was the mindset in this all different continental, why people are not opting for the automation at such place, like, maybe if I talk about African countries or something like that, what exactly wrong with them? Because this is the need of the hour, right? We all are talking about AI and all, but if you see the logistic sector, there's a hardly you will find there are companies who are doing automation at such great level which is required.
Yeah, I'll first answer your question of why US based company. For us, US based or India based or Singapore or Europe does not really matter. We
Hmm.
ourselves are global MNCs operating out of Mumbai.
Hmm.
So number
Right.
one, as I said, our presence, our customer base is global. Our service products are global, and even my local plus global both is there. Let's say I'm having a project in uh, Nigeria. So in Nigeria, I'm dealing with the local players as well and the global players as well. Now, all we wanted when we were critically evaluating the partners and the players about 3 years back, we were looking at who could fit into our requirement of being so vast and complex, where we could integrate their system with our ERPs. In L&Ts, we have 12 ERPs, unique ERPs. They don't talk to each other. So this system, Etulog system, is integrated to that all the ERPs for getting the order twinned
Okay.
via middleware. So we set up a
Hmm.
middleware as well. So which is in between ERPs and the SaaS platform, there is a middleware which transforms the data.
Hmm.
Like, and then uh, at the order twinning we do it so that we can do a better indenting and planning. Then entire execution is on the LMS platform, and then the again when it goes back to the ERP, For the bills processing and the payment bill settlement, it gets into the again ERP via
Okay.
middleware. So it is very well integrated, and we wanted a SaaS product which is very user friendly. UI should be very good, fantastic, because we want as simple as probably like Clear Trip or Make My Trip or maybe the IRCTC or Amazon kind of experience. Well, you intuitively, it should the
Right.
pages or the steps or the other thing should be based on the intuition actually
Hmm.
that way. So this product was offering then. We did
Hmm.
evaluate many other players. If I would name it, will be really wrong on my part why they succeed not. It's a overall package of commercial plus capabilities both.
Right.
So we had worked. We are a consultancy company, EY, which was our implementation partner, which was
Hmm.
also evaluating across on multiple parameters. So based on the various parameters at LNT, we decided to go in with these two players, and purely on the technical capability basis, because we were not solving the problem of today. We were wanting to be future ready,
Hmm.
and if one has to be future ready, one has to visualize the future problems,
True
build
that.
a solution for it. How much you can visualize, only your capable and competent partners who's been there, done that, in that mindset, can partner with you collaboratively and then share with you and walk that path of building a system, customizing or configuring a system which is future ready.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if you want a solution to meet your daily requirement or maybe solve today's problem, respectfully, there are good number of solutions available.
True that.
Respectfully, I'm saying, but it is important. So at LNT, we also wanted to have a system which is uh, quite foolproof. In fact, to the extent that it's a cloud product, so SaaS product, and integrating with our ERPs. So it must pass through multiple tech tests, all those
Right.
data security tests, because we deal with defense. Yeah, I forgot to share with you that
Yeah.
we are one of the biggest player in the or the one of the major player in the defense sector,
Hmm.
only catering to Indian defense organization, could be in Indian Army or Navy or couple of others for their specific. But we are also catering to many other global players as well. So,
Hmm.
which is a very unique data security comes into fore, very very important. So, we zeroed down on this particular one, and fortunately, the founder of that E2log is Indian.
Yeah, that I know that.
Yeah. Last one. So he knew the nuances of the Indian segment as well, our taxation structure, and probably the way the all our what you call LSPs and our Indian mindset a little bit, because we are 60% of our operation is logistics operation is India centric or with India based LSPs. This
Hmm.
is one. And second second question's answer of the why African market is not adopting to the technology, right?
Yeah, not only African, I'm talking about the all the companies. If you see, because you have seen the entire globe, right? Now you can see that there are two kind of people who everyone knows that there are automation required in logistics, right? Everyone knows, no one can deny that, right? But they're resistant from different kind of people that no, I don't want right now, maybe I don't have money or something like that. The moment you said that you wanted to be the future ready, that means you have to invest now, and in future you'll get the return. It's not something that today you have invested something like that, maybe 1 lakh or something like that, and from tomorrow you'll get the investment, right? It take around 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years to get the return back. So why this mindset is not changing? We are
No, no, it will change.
everyone. Yeah, okay.
I'll tell you why it will change. The whole world has moved towards smartphones.
Right.
Everything is happening on the smartphone. What not is happening. Millions and billions dollar worth of transactions are happening on, let's say, be it banking or anything is, and everything is happening on this. World is getting shrunk to smartphone size of the screen. It's
Right.
in the palm. So is the logistics monitoring and control is already now coming in. Our user base, not the user base, I would say resource, let's say, or the for a company like you, the users, you may call it. It could be a
Right.
LSP, it could be company, it could be some government of anyone for that matter, who is using your system per se. All are now getting smart to use the smartphone. Everybody wants. Do you have any app? Can I download any app quickly? The people call it, isn't it? And
Yeah.
more and more you simplify the steps and processes and make them believe it is just one, two, and three. It's done.
True.
It happens. For example, I'll tell you, the game changer for us is uh, earlier we used to have all those purchase requisition, purchase order, then service entry sheet, etc. Like for SAP, like in every ERP, all these steps involved to transact and complete our commercial transactions. Now, when
Hmm.
we have switched over to this ILMS, we have such a streamlined one, no step gets duplicated. So we have actually automated the PR, PO, and SES process after the transaction. That means
Hmm.
everything happens on ILMS, bidding happens, execution happens, transaction has happened, so material is received, delivered safely. Fantastic. Vendor just uploads the invoice. Once invoice is approved, automatically it creates its own purchase order and straight away goes for the payment release. Now we have
Hmm.
eliminated the step called PR, PO, and SES. Maybe some of your tech guys will know this, but I'm talking.
Yeah.
This used to be a cumbersome process.
Right.
Three steps, three system, three transaction IDs required. PR in a different transaction ID, PO in a different IG, and this and multiple signatures and approvals, etc. Release, all done. So these are some of the game-changing things. If you bring in to client or potential client or the users, it will change their minds. You
Hmm.
talk about probably what moves us today and what is our wow moment is steps are simple, steps are
Hmm.
intuitive. My vendors are easily able to participate. We had, let's say, 1500 vendor base. We have not gone there to teach them how to use the system. It is so simple. We tell them, I always tell them, who taught you to shop on the Amazon?
Nice example.
Was the Amazon guys came into your home and taught you? But you have been now transacting every now and then on Amazon. Who taught
Right.
you how to operate Instagram or the who taught you how to operate on IRCTC and book your train tickets? None, right? But these are
Right.
great systems. They're making our life easy.
Right.
So why can't we have the Amazon moment for us?
Hmm.
So our this system of ILMS is our Amazon moment.
Great. You have worked a lot on this. I can totally see the passion of automation and all those are sort of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard to. That's totally great. I have one last question, right? And this is something personal to me. I really wanted to know what is sustainable supply chain, right? What people are talking about so many things, global warming and all these things, right? But no one talking about the sustainable supply chain, how they can do it, what exactly cause it's hard to imagine, right? How these trucks will run without fuel, right?
yeah.
I will pack a material with plastic bag or something of tape, right? How this will happen? How you will make sure that you are paying good money to your logistic transport guy or something like that, right? So, what
No,
exactly is this?
I tell you something. One has to go deeper into it and find out what is the sustainable supply chain. One, you know, because it's purely not about. Respectfully, I'm saying so. It's not about the packaging. How it has to be done. Whatever, even if the plastic packaging, if you do this, it's coming in from some or the other. The fossil fuel resource only. Or the if you do the wooden packaging, it will come from the tree. So again, it's not good. We as a supply chain professionals or a global shipping professional, we have to look at how we can reduce the miles to travel. First and foremost, reduce the miles to travel. We try to be as much as straight possible, not the via and all your routing, etc., etc. So that way you will be able to not only optimize your cost, reduce the miles, and thereby reduce the carbon footprint. That's one. Second is keep exploring the options of near sourcing. That
Hmm.
near sourcing really helps in many ways, and especially in today's disrupted global supply chain, which is going to be a new normal is a is a now fade and it's a gone by word. The word is the ever normal. So this is
Hmm.
going to be normal. Disrupted supply chain will remain the norms for many years in the world. We have to accept
Hmm.
this as a reality, right? So if that is so, Every supply chain professional for their procurement strategy, sourcing strategy, they are looking at near sourcing or a stable uh, supplier base in from the stable company. So this is where India has come into sweet spot, and India is gaining its importance on the manufacturing map globally, and a lot of traction has come to India. This is also going to help a lot of companies. Let's say Europe-based companies. If they instead of procuring from China, if they procure from India, almost at the
Mm,
same cost, a little lower, at least supply chain cost will be lower. If not material cost, which could be same as the China, half of the miles less they have to travel. Isn't that
mm,
exciting? You anyway improved your supply chain performance on the sustainable index.
mm,
Plus, what we are doing, we are also looking at those small initiatives. What we do is we have started engaging EV vehicles, commercial vehicles. We are in serious talks with the manufacturer of the EV vehicles. What are the capacities and of the vehicles they can give us? The commercial vehicle, probably 15-ton plus, 22-ton plus trailers, etc., which can operate on battery movement, which could be my intercarting movement or the my plant in plant movement. I can do with that, or some within Hazira complex, which is a huge 35-40 kilometers overall movement happens with my vendor base. So can I use my EV vehicle to procure a small contribution, but we have already started doing it. So that's another one.
mm,
And also, as a company, we are very serious about committing towards this sustainable supply chain. So we are also one of the invitee and partner and contributor to the India's the task force, which is set up by uh, our ministry PMO uh, under the aegis of Planning Commission. So we are contributing there with various strategic discussion on how do we increase the uh, usage of alternate fuel for vehicles.
mm. Right,
This is
right.
the table where even the automobile manufacturers sit with us. You transporters also sit with us. Carriers also sit with us. We as a consumer also sit. Collectively, we do a lot of brainstorming. It was from the Geneva-based organization. I'm just missing the name. I'm just missing the name. It's a global organization, along with the planning commission, which we did. So we contribute and participate there strategically. So I cannot be. Maybe my business model is not allowing me to go for a huge, large scale EV adoption. But can I contribute strategically in the discussions with the planning commissions in their through various committees where we are member, and enhance the uses for the segment or the sector where it could be implemented easily, where it could be a
Mm.
win-win situation for automobile manufacturer at the same time with the cargo owner. So we are doing something or the other activities on those lines.
Wow, great, great. Thank you so much for sharing all those insights. And it was great learning from you. I mean, this is why I'd love to do this kind of podcast because it's not for other people, it's for me. I'm learning lots of things and I'm getting lots of insight, people like you. So thank you so much for joining. So thank you so much. And yeah, looking forward to have you once again in near future when we will discuss more about other part of this entire logistic automation part.
Yeah, I hope my this long discussion or long answers give some clarity to what is EPC's business actually, and why logistics and shipping is very very important in profitable execution of the project in EPC segment, where we our profits, every project is a profit center.
Right,
And when I say so, at any given point in time at L&T, we manage 500 plus profit centers
right.
simultaneously at any given point. Logistics plays a significant role in ensuring that we remain on the growth trajectory with the profitable execution of the project. Really,
True.
it was indeed a pleasure talking to you, Pratik, and thank you for inviting. And in fact, really, it's a new thing, your podcast and reaching out to industry professional. I watched some of your previous podcasts as well. The link was sent, and it's really exciting. At least our new generation, which is getting into shipping and logistics, will come to know that how simple it is. It is not complex. It's all about logic and logistics is built of logics. A to B to C, is just connecting the dots. So it's really exciting. And through this podcast, I would be inviting all budding logistics and shipping professionals to look at this as a continue to look at this as a serious career, and in the near future is very bright for shipping and logistics professionals, high paying
Totally,
as well.
totally agree, sir. Only people like you who can say it's very simple, right? I still find hard to understand how this logistics. There's so many multimodal and all those stuffs. We definitely gonna talk on our next podcast. But yeah, thank you so
Sure.
much once again, sir. If you are at the end of this video, thank you so much for watching this video. If you wanted to know more about Traqo.io, you can definitely visit. And yes, don't forget to subscribe for keep getting this kind of videos. Take care. Bye bye. See you in the next podcast.